All righty, everybody. I'm going to start this a little bit early. Hey, Kareem, how are you? Oh, hold on. Let me unmute. I muted you because you had something going in the background. There we go. How's it going, my friend?
Oh, not too bad.
That's good. I figured everybody's in, well, not everybody's in place. I'm in place. So I figured I would just get going. It's been kind of my intention to do this all along, which is if I'm ready to start the stream a little bit early, have maybe a little bit of extra bonus content, and then when everybody is online, then we'll start the show. Unfortunately, it hasn't really worked out that way because I'm going to blame Smitty and Keith. I mean, yes, it has been Smitty and Keith a couple of times because they were in doing their podcast here before us on Tuesday. And when they finish at 7 and then we've got to clear everything out and reset everything up, it just means we don't have that much time to get everything squared away. So it's just good to be on, even if no one is watching yet. It's good to have the stream up and going and be ready to rock and roll when when Jason comes online. We'll touch on this in the body of the show, but apparently the transition to President Biden has begun officially.
That's what I was listening to when you muted me.
Yeah, the good news is all that had to happen was Michigan had to certify Biden as the winner, and then it was like, oh, hey, well, shit. I guess having all those lawmakers from Michigan to the White House really didn't do anything.
No, it pissed him off probably more than anything because they told him no.
Yeah, and it probably pissed them off too because they're like, "You called us all the way here for this shit? Come on, man.
Yeah,
come on, man." So that's the big news as we get ready to go into the show. So, yeah, it's very very interesting to see what's going on now. I had to sort of tweak the show a little bit, but just because that's happening doesn't mean that Trump has decided to just chill out and stop being a wang about stuff. I mean,
yeah, I was just reading he's fucking over the Georgia GOP right now.
Well, sure. Well, yes, because the story that broke a little earlier today, and I'm happy to get into this now, so we're not into it in the body of the show, is that both of the Republicans running for Senate in Georgia have come out and in certain instances said that he is a liability to them, that he's a problem.
Yeah.
Not that he's an asset. So I'm sure that made him feel real great.
Oh my goodness. And then, you sent the thing about Parler, but I heard it on a couple of newscasts too, that Parler is, they're killing everybody on Parler that's not for him.
Well, maybe so. But here's the fun part about Parler is I was listening to another podcast and I don't know where Parler springs from. And that was kind of the point they were making. Is like, who's behind Parler?
It's financed by, God, I'll find her picture, but she looks like the Crypt Keeper's daughter. But she's one of those daughter of like a billionaire. And so
right.
she's the person who financed it. And so there was a guy who set it up originally, but she's the person who's behind the financing and who's made it right wing.
Well, here's the question that was brought up is there a Russian element to Parler, to the setup and the running of Parler that's sort of allowed this to become a thing? And I don't know the answer to that. So it's really interesting. But yeah, the people on Parler were very upset when Trump announced that the lady who was at the press conference with his legal team was not in fact one of his lawyers. They were very vexed by this. And
well, when you're bringing up Hugo Chavez and he's been dead since 2013.
Yeah.
It kind of it went a little too far for Trump even.
That hold on, this is a little too far for me. I can't take this anymore. I got good news today, by the way. J Red the King from the All Eyes on Us podcast, negative for COVID-19. So he just had a cold. So that's good news for him and his family and the Darling New Media family as COVID-19 runs rampant across the country and everywhere. So it's just kind of a nutty time. As I'm looking at the clock now, Kareem, Jason is at least 3 minutes late. Although I did put a start time of 7:35 just because you can't start on Facebook more than 10 minutes late.
Gotcha.
So that's why I put the start time at 7, because you can start early, but you can't start more than 10 minutes late. And I was like, well, let's, make sure we're all good with this. And if you're watching us on Facebook, hello. If you're watching us on Twitter via Periscope, hello. And if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, hello. Thanks for joining in.
Rebecca Mercer. She's a daughter of a hedge fund manager. That's what it is.
Well, great. Yeah. Oh. I see his little bearded face, and there he is, Jason Casey. Hello.
Hello.
Kareem and I are just shooting the breeze, waiting for you before we do the official show start. So, yeah, nothing's really happened. We've just been talking about Trump and other nonsense.
Nice.
Get a lot of it out of the way before the actual show starts.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Right? Right? So,
oh, man.
Yeah, we've just been jabbering for about 7 minutes or so to get everything squared away and rolling. It's good to see you with a camera back this week, too.
Yeah, well, I had to tell a lady, yo, this is how it is.
You don't have book club this week, right?
No. That's how it went. Yeah.
That's how it went. Yeah. Virtual book club. That sounds terrible. I mean, whatever makes you happy, I guess, but it does sound terrible. Just gonna say it.
Yeah, my wife loves reading.
What a loser.
I mean, she'll get like a PhD or something.
Yeah, that's craziness. All right, let's run the official start of the show here, and we will actually do a fun podcast. I think. Hold on, Kareem sent me a message. I see it on my watch. Oh, you've sent an attachment. Oh well, I'll get to that in just a hot minute. Please hold.
WTH.
What the hell?
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 This is the WTH, the WTH podcast.
Hold on to your butts.
Jason Casey. Kareem Daniels. And Nate Darling. From the Darling New Media Studios.
This is the WTH podcast.
Hello and welcome in to another episode of the WTH podcast. Hope you're all doing well. I just moved the monitor a little bit so I wouldn't have to look down to see you guys. There we go. I don't want to put my hand up because that blocks the light, and look what it does to my camera. Hope you're watching live. Anyway, we are live. Last show before Thanksgiving. How are you all doing?
Dope.
Oh, yeah. All right. Make sure I have the right thing. I don't have it labeled, so I have to remember which one is which. So good times. Coming up on the show today, Don Jr.'s got it. We've got something I call fisting Lindsay. And something that made me say to fuck. We'll get to all of that. Yeah. Plus why radio is great and one of my own personal radio stories. All of those things coming up on the show today. Before we get to all of that, gentlemen, what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Jason?
Gonna have a great big feast with everyone in my family at their own houses.
A distance learning a Zoom feast?
We'll see. No, I got some Cornish game hens to smoke, and just gonna have ourselves a nice little peaceful Thanksgiving.
Sounds good. Kareem, you?
I was just informed before the podcast that my Thanksgiving plans got changed. My girlfriend and the niece were supposed to go to her sister's house, which was going to give me a day of football by myself. And turns out the other niece's friend might have the Rona. So I have a day with those two.
And football.
Because football is not changing.
Right. Yeah. The Steelers are playing.
The Steelers are 10-0, baby.
And they're playing on Thanksgiving, right?
They're playing the Ravens on Thanksgiving. Yes. So
excellent.
That's what I'll be doing all day.
Sitting with your hand in your pants watching football.
Exactly.
All right. We are, much like Jason, I will be smoking. I have 2 turkey breasts. Why 2? Because there's 3 of us and I'd like to have leftovers. With the one, we've done the one turkey breast before because you can get them all the time at Rayleigh's, the really nice butterball turkey breast. It's a good size, but you don't end up with a lot left over after your meal. So we are going to, when I say I am going to smoke just like Jason smoked himself right on out of the show. I'm going to be smoking 2 turkey breasts. And my wife will be making the sides, and it'll just be me and the wife and the little one and her dad who lives on the property. So it's all one household. We will all be having Thanksgiving together. That's our Thanksgiving plan. So unlike years past where Thanksgiving involved going to Vegas,
yes,
that was where I proposed 5 years ago Wednesday.
I was just remembering that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's all that's going on. It's a pretty sort of chill situation for Thanksgiving. I don't know how much football I'll be watching. I honestly haven't been that into football this year at all. I mean, watched the Niners a little bit, but yeah, I'm just so busy with everything else that I just don't seem to have time for sports. It kind of, I mean, it's good, but it kind of sucks too.
Well, I've been watching the Steelers. I haven't been watching all of the rest of the games like I normally do.
Right.
Because I've been doing other stuff too. But the Steelers games, the first half of the season, all of their games ended up being on television. So it made it easy. And then the last couple haven't been. So I've done other things along with it. I'm setting up a home studio for music. So I've been working on getting that set up and then getting our garage cleaned out so that the missus can park her car in there.
There you go. Welcome back, Jason. What happened?
So I'm using my wife's computer and I have my own account, and I think I need to log her out. Otherwise, I get that type of issue that happens. So
Oh, gotcha.
it's a Mac. I don't know, man.
I haven't used the Mac in a long time. I've got a new iPad Pro, but I have not, other than the iPads and my iPhone, I haven't used the Mac in a while. Although that may be changing in the new year.
Yeah, I heard the new Mac, the processor on that is faster than everything else that's going.
The M1 is here's the technical term, it's the cat's ass.
Yeah.
It's the cat's ass.
And not the most expensive one, the cheapest one.
Yeah.
Is faster than everything else that's out here.
And they run cool, which is really thermals is the big thing when you're talking about smaller computers. So
and it has really long battery life.
The cheapest one doesn't have a battery. That's the Mac Mini that plugs in. But
Yeah.
the MacBook Air, the new MacBook Air.
Yeah.
The big downside to the new MacBook Air and the new MacBook Pro is they only have 2 USB-C ports. That's it. And a headphone jack. 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. That's it.
Yeah.
Jason seems skeptical.
Apple's gonna Apple.
that is true.
It is sleek, I'll tell you that. It's
Sure.
it's a sleek looking thing. So I mean, I don't know when I'm going to need to get a new laptop for editing, or whatever. But that may be what I do. I do love the iPad Pro. It's also the cat's ass.
Yeah.
Gonna say that. Totally the cat's ass. It's the this one was my wife got it for me for our anniversary. So which is coming up. So I got it early. It was an early anniversary present because she wasn't sure exactly what to get. So she's like, do you want to know what it is? Do you want to be surprised? Do you want to get it? And I'm like, let's just do it. And then she told me, and I was like, that's amazing. So I was pretty happy with it for a number of reasons. Unlike Governor Larry Hogan not happy, as Donald Trump tweeted this morning. Report: Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, anti-Trump hero, paid for flawed coronavirus tests from South Korea, and then threw in a Breitbart link via Breitbart News. This rhino will never make the grade. Hogan is just as bad as the flawed tests he paid big money for. To which Governor Larry Hogan tweeted, if you had done your job, America's governors wouldn't have been forced to fend for themselves to find tests in the middle of a pandemic, as we successfully did in Maryland. Stop golfing and concede.
Wow.
Larry's had enough.
Larry's one of the most beloved governors in the country. And he's, by Democrats and Republicans.
Well, because he's a Republican who actually stepped out and spoke like a real human being, which was pretty rare. Speaking of which, Bernie Sanders tweeted, and this is the first time I've seen an actual sitting politician call this out. I have friends who have called this out. I know other people on Twitter who have called this out. This is the first time a sitting U.S. senator in particular, and someone who's been elected, has called this out. He tweeted, Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont. It is beyond pathetic for a sitting president to try to subvert the results of an election. It is even worse when the Republican Party, with few exceptions, remains silent over this outrageous attack on democracy. The GOP has ceased to be a political party. It is now a cult.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's again, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say it, that I am ashamed that I was ever a member of the party, because this is not the whole idea that the party would let someone subvert the government like in this way. It's crazy. And you got followers that aren't that intelligent, but some of these, like Ted Cruz went to Harvard Law School or one of those Ivy League law schools. Like, he understands the danger of what's happening. And for him to sit back and allow this shit to happen and even encourage it, it says a lot about him. The fact that he didn't stand up for his father and his wife is one thing. That
it sure is.
It
sure is.
Isn't it you that always says, like, when somebody shows you who they really are, believe them?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
What my wife's saying.
Yeah, but dude, you like this isn't shit that's gonna bounce back. And like I said last week, and I'm gonna keep saying it, Joe Biden, do not get in the way of any prosecutions for anybody from this administration. This shit they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Otherwise, the Republicans will try to do this shit again in 2024. They will find somebody who is less crazy and they will run this play a fucking again. Mark my words. If you do not make sure all these bastards are put in jail or are prosecuted as much as possible, they will do this shit again.
Got a Nuremberg.
Yeah, we cannot.
You
cannot fuck around with this.
All right. So Bernie Sanders called them out as a cult. As if on cue, this gentleman called into the Rush Limbaugh program in near tears, and he is distraught.
It's great to be here. I'm going to try to hold myself together, not get emotional here, but I want to harken back to your statement about Georgia and about the Trump voter.
Yeah.
And they should be very afraid, very afraid. Trump and you are all we have left, Rush. We've spent our lives voting for these people because they're not them. And we just can't do it anymore. We're tired of being stabbed in the back, Rush. It's better to have an enemy that's in front of you than a friend that's behind you that's just going to stab you. They do it every time. We have a Republican.
That's an enemy. That's not a friend. If they're stabbing you in the back, they're not a friend.
Well, not likely.
State, and they won't do an audit of the vote. They won't.
They did a hand recount.
Yeah.
They won't do an audit of the vote. Hey, guess what, dickbag? It doesn't matter. He still wins even if Georgia were to swing Republican, which it didn't.
Yes.
It went Democrat for the first time in a while.
They just basically told every Georgian that they don't care.
Nope. They told you they don't care, that your bullshit is not true, and we're not going to tolerate it.
We were in Washington on Saturday. Me and my
They were at the Million MAGA March, which, by the way, by all crowd estimates, came in somewhere between 10 and 12,000 people. That's from the Park Service. That's who estimates crowd sizes in D.C. Listen to this idiot.
Liberal hacks.
My 33-year-old son, we saw more people than we've ever seen in our lifetime, ever. And we're season ticket holders for the Ravens, for God's sakes. I've been in crowds.
Hold on.
Right.
You live in Georgia and you're season ticket holders for the Ravens? Are you confusing the Ravens and Falcons? Or are you really from Maryland?
He got to be from.
Well, no. He didn't say that he was in Georgia, but he said those voters in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
He said,
fair enough.
80,000 people. I've been to Steelers games, for goodness sakes. I have never seen so many people, but were there any Republicans there? No. None.
Okay, now Rush is puzzled because he's like, wait a minute, aren't they all Republicans?
None. But
Wait.
No.
There were no What was this thing that you went to?
A week ago Saturday in Washington, D.C.,
Yeah, but-
the mega rally. There must have been hundreds of thousands.
Okay, it's a MAGA rally, and you mean no elected Republicans? Is that what you mean?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Our party leadership, quote unquote, if this were a Democrat rally, they would all be there. They were there for the anti-Tea Party movement, walking hand in hand up the steps.
Yep.
No one stands for us, Rush. Only you.
That's because you're fucking nuts. You're fucking nuts. They don't want to be seen with you. You're crazy. You're a loon, sir.
Yeah, you're lucky your son
loon.
wants to be next.
You're a goddamn loon. That's why none of the elected officials want to be seen next to you, because you're fucking crazy.
They don't know if you're going to shoot them when they show up at the rally.
Here's a little secret for all the MAGA people out there. Donald Trump despises you. This is not a fact that's in dispute. He doesn't like them. He doesn't care for them. He has nothing but contempt for them. That is documented. 100% documented. They don't care about you. Donald Trump doesn't care about this guy. Rush Limbaugh doesn't care about this guy other than to exploit him.
Exactly.
And he's and like a lamb to the slaughter, he doesn't understand that.
He's a mark.
He's totally a fucking mark. He's a fucking mark, Jason. Fucking mark.
He's a
Goddamn mark.
I mean, like, seriously, right? I mean, he's a fucking, like, I mean, this is the guy that goes and, like, plays poker, you know, with all of his friends, and then loses and then cries about it because, like, they all played better than him. I mean, there's nothing worse than a sad sap that doesn't understand that they've been had, you know? I mean, that's why you get invited to a poker game the first time.
Hey, let's invite Jason. He's great at poker.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. I mean,
Yeah. Oh no, I get it. I totally get it.
He's a fucking mark. I mean, like, and he fucking bought it. And he's, like you said, a lamb to the slaughter. He does not. For the hundreds of people he calls a sheeple every day on Facebook and Twitter, because that's what this guy does all day, I'm sure.
Or Parlor.
Or Parlor.
Well,
no,
Parlor now. He's gone to Parlor, Jason.
Yeah, but when he's on Parlor, he's just like, oh my god, these people, like, it's an echo chamber there.
Is Parlor? I don't want to go, first of all, but I can only imagine what a circle jerk Parlor is.
Oh yeah, come on, Ed.
I mean,
these guys do it the best. These people do it the best. They love it.
They specifically went there for that.
I'd like to throw a pizza in the middle of that circle jerk that is Parlor and watch the last person to come eat it. That's what I want to see.
All of those Facebook rooms, chat rooms that were set up, or groups that were set up, it's one of those. It's pretty much one of those as a site.
Well,
so
fantastic.
They can go and say all of the shit that they can't say on Facebook anymore and get told you're crazy. It's not true.
They're censoring me. They're censoring me. No, they're calling you on your bullshit.
And I think you have to. I haven't done it, but from what I've heard, you have to show your ID. You have to give them a copy of your ID to get on, to like get an account with them.
Oh, speaking of that,
like, it's fucking serious, dude. Like 100% serious.
But speaking of that, the Republicans are trying to get. This is the new voter restriction they're trying to get. So if you're going to send an absentee ballot, they want your ID for the absentee ballot.
Well, we live in California, so if you're registered, you get a ballot.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, how the fuck are you going to, like the thought process of these people? It's like, oh, so you're gonna show my ID to turn in the absentee ballot, to mail it in? Like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. We have breaking news, by the way. This has been obtained by CNN. It's a new Bob Woodward tape with Jared Kushner. So I've not listened to this. This is from May 8th of 2020.
Look, I really do believe that he's passed the competency test on the execution. I think that, Kelly actually said a great thing to him in the Oval Office. She said, look, politically, do you think we were better off the other way where things were humming, or this way? And she says, in some ways it's better this way, because before, people took for granted how great you were with the economy.
Wow, that's Jared Kushner. I've paused it as we come back to a 2-box of Anderson Cooper looking befuddled and Bob Woodward looking like, you motherfuckers have no idea how bad it is. Let's keep going a little bit.
I mean, wow. So at that point, more than 77,000 Americans had died. And Kushner tells you they had a conversation in the Oval Office, and Kellyanne Conway's conclusion was it's better this way because now people don't.
Kayleigh
McEnany.
Yeah, he's referring to yes.
Yeah,
the
sorry.
Press secretary.
Yeah. Kayleigh McEnany said it's better this way because people don't take you for granted on the economy anymore. I mean, that's stunning.
Wow.
That is a Shakespearean tragedy unto itself. The idea that you would say, let's embrace disaster, and then you can come back from that and people will appreciate you in some way they would not if we had not had this disaster. The first time I heard that, I thought, is that possible? would the president ask that kind of question? How do I maneuver my way politically through this? And the answer is yes. And
of course, the answer is yes.
Yes, that's what he does. That's who he is.
Yeah, it's all about him. It's all about him. Also, Bob Woodward on Twitter dropped the names of 20 senators who have expressed disgust with Trump, Republican senators. Sitting Republican senators. He named names.
Good.
He named names. I'm scrolling. He's got a lot of tweets on here. See if I can find it here. Boy. A lot of scrolling. There's a lot of posts here about his book Rage, which, by the way, oh God, it's depressing. I have the audiobook and I still have 5 hours left in the goddamn thing. I cannot get through it. It's so demoralizing. It's just an exercise in losing faith in humanity.
Nice. That's my favorite type.
Right. Use that as a blurb on your book jacket, Bob. It's not Bob's fault. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's absolutely not Bob's fault, but yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, yeah, if you you can go through and I'm sure if you Google that, you can find the answer to that. But
so the book should have a warning label: will not inspire faith in humanity.
No, it will not. It will not inspire faith in anything.
I just finished It Was All a Lie by Stuart Stevens about the Republican Party. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so I've made it through Mary Trump's book. That was actually it's not a breezy listen by any stretch, but I made it through that. I made it through A Very Stable Genius, which was the 2 Washington Post writers.
Yeah, that was harsh too.
That was a tough listen to. The 2 of them combined have nothing on Rage. Nothing. And this is the 3rd book Woodward's done. I haven't bothered with the other 2. Anyway, let's get to fisting Lindsey, shall we? So Senator Lindsey Graham's been busy. He's been calling secretaries of state around the country and trying to influence the election in inappropriate ways. But he's also been fist bumping VP-elect Kamala Harris on the Senate floor. And with nothing going on in the world because celebrities have shut down, TMZ is now in Washington, D.C. asking politicians shit. So
awesome.
let's see what Lindsey has to say.
How you doing, man? Good. I got to ask you, man, yesterday, the fist bump with you and Senator Harris, possibly VP-elect, what happened there? You guys are friends?
I haven't seen her in a while. I've always enjoyed working with her. I have a good relationship with her. We'll see what happens in the next month or so. But, if Trump falls short.
You kind of blew up the internet a little bit yesterday. So you guys are cool. And I got to ask you, man, you're still fighting for the president's election.
This thing ain't over till it's over. And they're not inconsistent.
Should just give hope to the country. You guys are actually friends and you could work together. A lot of people think you guys hate each other.
Well, here's what I can say about my colleagues. There's really not anybody in this body that I don't feel like I could go to and work with on things we have in common. If she prevails, if Biden and Harris become the president and the vice president, I feel like it'd be my duty to try to find common ground. And I've always enjoyed her company. I think she's very smart, very talented, and, keep fighting for Trump, and what happens, happens.
What happens is pretty much settled, my friend. It's all settled.
I think I could get way more behind TMZ if they start covering politics.
They are covering politics, my friend. They are covering politics.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
those people like we see our celebrities, right?
I mean, it's good and it's bad because for every Lindsey Graham that they cover, they also, they give platform to Donald Trump Jr.
I have seen it by now, but apparently I got the Rona. You wouldn't know it.
Apparently I got the Rona. Cocaine doesn't ward it off.
There's God.
Based on anything that I felt or have seen, or I guess I've been totally asymptomatic.
He's a super spreader.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
What is he, Jim Rome? Have a take, don't suck. Get out of here, clones.
But out of an abundance of precaution, I'll quarantine. I'll follow the regular protocols. Take it seriously. No reason to do anything otherwise. But again, totally asymptomatic, which is what's weird about it. I only got tested because I was supposed to do a father-son trip with my son after basically being on the road nonstop for a few.
Okay, enough of him. Whew, that's really loud. Anyway,
he did this just so he didn't have to spend time with his son like his dad.
Exactly.
He doesn't even have it. He's like, I'm supposed to go spend time with my son. There's no cocaine with my son.
Apparently, he also added maybe it's a false positive, maybe not. He wants more tests.
He's like, he takes the test every day for the next 14 days. And finally, on the 15th one, he's like, "See, I don't have it."
Look out! I don't have it. Oh boy. Anyway, this will shock you guys. I mean, get ready to be shocked. Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing you're both sitting down. Counties with worst virus surges overwhelmingly voted for Trump.
No.
Yeah, the U.S. voters went to the polls starkly divided on how they see President Donald Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic. But in places where the virus is most rampant now, Trump enjoyed the enormous support. An Associated Press analysis reveals that in 376 counties with the highest number of new cases per capita, the overwhelming majority, 93% of those counties, went for Trump. Most were rural counties in Montana, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Wisconsin, the kinds of areas that often have lower rates of adherence to social distancing, mask wearing, and other public health measures, and have been a focal point for much of the latest surge in cases. State health officials are pausing for a moment of introspection, even as they worry about the rising number of hospitalizations and deaths. They hope to reframe their messages and aim for a reset on public sentiment now that the election is over. Good luck.
Hey, they said that we would not be talking about the Rona anymore.
And now Don Jr. has it.
It says November 4th, it was going to magically disappear, that nobody would be talking about it anymore.
Yep. That's absolutely a fact. That's what they said. That is what they said. This also from TMZ, although it was originally on MSNBC. Brian Williams. Now, Brian Williams used to anchor the NBC Nightly News. Then he made some claims that weren't exactly true. He went away for a little bit and then showed back up on MSNBC. One of the things Brian Williams is known for is having a daughter who had her ass eaten out in the show Girls. The other thing he's known for,
yes,
that's his highest thing he's known for. I'm putting it right up there. Oh, hey, it looks like we're streaming. The second thing he's known for is sarcasm. And he really let loose.
Should the coronavirus vaccine, the COVID vaccine, be called anything when it gets here? Well, a name has been suggested. Here for that, from Fox and Friends this morning, Geraldo Rivera, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I had an idea, when with the world so divided and everybody, telling him he's got to give up and time to leave and time to transition and all the rest of it. Why not name the vaccine the Trump? Make it like, have you gotten your Trump yet? No, it'd be a nice gesture to him. And years from now, it would become just a kind of a generic name. Have you got your Trump yet? Oh, yeah, I got my Trump. I'm fine. I wish we could honor him in that way because he is definitely the prime architect of this Operation Warp Speed. And
hold on, before we get to Brian Williams, I can't help myself.
Go fuck yourself. Say it again. Go fuck yourself.
Okay, now back to the clip.
But for him, we'd still be waiting, into the grim winter for these amazing, miraculous medical breakthroughs.
For my money, Geraldo raises a good point there. It's possible we just don't give the president enough credit for his FDR-like devotion to tackling this virus, his laser-like focus, his daily...
By the way, they're showing still shots of Trump on golf courses while he's saying this.
devotion, the sympathy he's forever expressing to the families of the 250,000 dead, even the way the president lectures us in that way to please wear a mask and stop the spread. And he's always advocated injections. Geraldo may be onto something. What Trump steaks did for the hungry, what Trump water did for the thirsty in our nation, what Trump University did to lift up the uneducated in our country. Well, along comes Trump, the vaccine. Possibilities, I think you'll agree, are endless.
Fuck Geraldo Rivera. and I called this 12 years ago. I just sent you a link to a video outside the comedy spot when I was hella hammered from 12 years ago. And it was my take on Geraldo Rivera back then.
Oh, let's take a quick listen.
Fuck Geraldo! Fuck Geraldo! I will punch him in the face! I will kick him like that! Like that! Like that! Right in the mustache! Right in the fucking mustache!
That was from February of 2008, by the way. That was almost 13 years ago. Jason, a very drunk Jason Casey.
My God!
So drunk.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
Yeah. You can smell the vapors.
Oh, that is amazing. Way to be on that.
Oh man.
So, Trump's got his legal team. He's got Rudy, who apparently applies hair dye in the most temporary way possible. So if he sweats, it runs down his face. He's got the one blonde lady and the other blonde lady. Oh, wait, what do you say? Oh, here's a statement from Trump Pence 2020. Sidney Powell is practicing law on her own. She's not a member of the Trump legal team. She is also not a lawyer for the president in his personal capacity. Rudy Giuliani, attorney for President Trump, and Jenna Ellis, Trump campaign senior legal advisor and attorney for President Trump. So, fun question. Why was Sidney Powell then at the press conference for Trump's legal team? Because she was there. She was on stage saying shit with all of them.
Oh, she was at the sex shop and she's like, oh, I should go hang out over there, see what's up.
What's going on? Hey, Rudy, what's happening?
Sidney said some shit and he was like, hold it. That's too far for me.
Yeah, when you make Donald Trump go, whoa, that's a little crazy. You've hit on something. All right, now we get to the point in the show where I said, the fuck? There's a lawsuit now. Apparently, managers at Tyson Foods bet money on how many workers would contract COVID-19. If you remember, that's one of the hot spots in the Midwest early on were the meatpacking plants. Well, a wrongful death lawsuit tied to COVID-19 infections in a Waterloo, Iowa pork processing plant alleges that during the initial stages of the pandemic, Tyson Foods ordered employees to report for work while that's a fact. While supervisors privately wagered money on the number of workers who would be sickened by the deadly virus. Wow.
That's who they should show up, whose house they should show up at with guns. No, they shouldn't show up with guns. They should just disappear their asses. Well,
Tyson Foods has announced that they are suspending those employees involved in the bet lawsuit without pay. They are going to launch an independent investigation led by Obama's former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. A rep for Tyson Foods tells TMZ, by the way, TMZ is actually breaking more news than a lot of places. So FYI, the company is extremely upset about the accusations involving some of the leadership at the Waterloo plant. The rep adds these allegations do not represent who we are or our core values and team behaviors. The rep added that if the claims are confirmed to be true, we'll take all measures necessary to root out and remove this disturbing behavior from our company.
It is who you are, because you made those people work under those circumstances. And I don't give a shit if the supervisors, I mean, I do give a shit that the supervisors bet, but you put them in the fucking position where they had to choose whether people lived or died.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to make money. So fuck you. It's not in our culture. Yeah, it is your fucking culture.
And they did it without doing something like putting in social distancing, staggering shifts. There were things they could have done to mitigate the risks, but they didn't. They had them report for work and had them stand shoulder to shoulder like they always had.
Yeah.
And you ended up with a lot of people who were sick and a lot of people who died because of it. And yeah, it's kind of shit, but I guess we'll find out. We'll see what Eric Holder comes up with. Is Eric Holder for sale now to Tyson Foods? Or is he really doing an independent investigation?
You better do an independent investigation, because I'm at this point, I'm ready to throw everybody on the fucking bus.
I always wonder about that, man. When I hear about somebody who is going in and they're doing, and the company has hired them to do a quote unquote independent investigation. The company has hired them. The company is paying them. You hope that that person is going to come out with the truth, that they actually want to know the truth. But you always wonder.
Yeah.
You always wonder.
You have to hope that that person, upholds the bias that they're supposed to have, the unbiased idea and seek facts. I mean, it's why we have organizations like the National Institute of Health. It's why we have the California Science and Tech Council on Science Technology. It's the reason we have those types of places for unbiased scientific information, right? So hopefully that's what Eric Holder's unbiased third party.
We'll see. Speaking of third parties, you remember that guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, who went from Illinois to Wisconsin and shot people in the streets, allegedly? He got bailed out of jail. Where did the money come from? Oh, well, funny you should ask. Ricky fucking Schroeder and the My Pillow guy. How's that for a weird threesome?
Wow. Well, that's pretty much probably how Silver Spoons ended. He lost all his fucking money and he had to get a regular job, and then he became a right-wing activist.
He was on NYPD Blue.
Yes.
He was actually pretty good in NYPD Blue. So yeah, Ricky Schroeder made a significant contribution, which led to Rittenhouse posting $2 million cash bail. That's according to his lawyer, Lynn Wood. Apparently Schroeder contributed $150,000 to the bail. Wood posted a photo of his client and Schroeder saying, "Thank you all donors. Thank you all patriots. Thank God Almighty."
Shouldn't he been paying the child support, or is he beating his wife again?
Well, he was arrested for domestic violence not that long ago. In addition to Schroeder, MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell also donated, and attorney Wood thanked both Schroeder and Lindell for, quote, putting us over the top. Apparently, Lindell donated $50,000. The 17-year-old Rittenhouse is now free pending trial. He's accused of shooting and killing 2 men and wounding a third during demonstrations in Kenosha, Wisconsin, surrounding the police shooting of Jacob Blake. He claims he acted in self-defense. No, asshole, you rolled into a city where you don't live carrying an AR-15, walking the streets looking for trouble.
And you were not old enough to have, he committed a crime by having a gun.
Correct.
So anything that's subsequent to that, you're responsible for is a crime. Doesn't matter what the fuck you were doing. You committed a crime. Everything after that's a crime.
Yeah. We'll see how it all plays out. But
yeah.
he's out of jail on bail. So yay. Whatever. We don't have to pay to feed his ass for a while, I guess. It's the way to look at it.
Do they send him back across state lines? Like, because you would think that normally, like, you wouldn't be able to move across state lines in that type of situation.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm guessing he went home.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a way to track him across state lines. I'm sure that this is something that they're going to be able to do that with. And I don't even know, it may be a federal case too, considering he crossed state lines.
Yeah.
It may actually be a federal case already. So it's a moot point. Meanwhile, Kareem, IHOP. Let's take a listen. Oh, there's no audio to this. Okay. So anyway, a guy wanted to chow out on an IHOP without face covering wouldn't take no mask, no service for an answer because cops say he went to town on the staff with a knife. Law enforcement officials tell TMZ the incident went down last Tuesday in Queens, where surveillance video captured the horrifying scene. At first, you see the customer in the waiting area with another guy, although we're told there were at least 3 men who rolled in together. Thanks. Get out of here. No, mute your sorry ass. I'll tell you what. I'll hit the mute button, then you won't have anything. Staffers tell him to mask up, which seems to piss him off. He gets up to argue, appears to be leaving, but when the whole crew comes back, he's way more agitated. The video shows the guy who allegedly refused to put on a mask storm back into the IHOP, charge past the table and other waiting customers, apparently trying to get at someone off camera. While trying to get a hold of that person, the guy reaches over and grabs something from his friend. Cops say it was a knife, and then he chases some workers through the restaurant. Toward the end of the video, he actually swings it at someone before running away. According to TMZ sources, the man swung at 40-year-old female employee and cut her arm, which required stitches. Apparently, the guy and his pals made a clean getaway, but cops are still looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like some kind of gang initiation shit.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. What a mighty, mighty good man. Not. I tried to match Brian Williams' level of sarcasm. I didn't quite make it.
I hope he falls on a knife and it stabs him in the ass.
Yeah, you know what I think?
Go fuck yourself.
That's what I think. Meanwhile, in Detroit news, Kim Adams was as surprised as anyone to hear about the abrupt format flip of WDZH FM 98.7 on Thursday. The station made a sudden switch from easy listening, The Breeze, to alt rock at noon on Thursday, following CIMX FM switchover from alt rock to country music. By the way, if you're wondering, the C is for the Canadian station. Detroit's right on the border. Just as quickly, Adams found herself jobless. Literally in the middle of my show, my boss called my cell phone and told me that as of that minute, they were flipping over and we went from Gene Autry to Nirvana, and that was it. I didn't realize something like that could happen.
Wow.
Welcome to radio, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, man.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, she's a former TV meteorologist at Channel 7 and Channel 4 in Detroit. She's been the midday host at The Breeze since February of 2019. Her show aired from 9 to 3. That's a pretty long shift in radio. A 6-hour midday shift. That's it's a lot of easy listening to bring, and that's a hell of a way to find out, right?
And it's only 2 hours of production too, like for a 6-hour show. If she has to do any of her own stuff.
That sorry sack of shit couldn't be bothered to roll to the studio and say, hey, sorry we couldn't tell you before. We wanted to keep the flip a surprise. Come on, we gotta go. Here's your severance. No, calls her cell phone and says, oh, by the way, we flipped formats, and as of right now, you don't have a job. What a piece of garbage.
Oh my God.
There's like her booth just all of a sudden just like power down, all the pots go all the way down, it darkens out.
They just switched to it. I mean, everything's computerized, so they just switched to a different studio.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic.
Wow.
I mean, imagine being in that. Jason, you've worked in radio. Imagine being in radio and you're playing something, and all of a sudden something else comes on, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, holy shit!
Yeah.
What did I do? What's going on?" And you're
Yeah.
looking to try and solve the problem, and then your cell phone rings.
Did you?
Hey,
you're fired.
Hey. By the way,
did you have to take your own readings when you were on the radio? Did you have to do the radio transmit? Yeah.
Oh yeah, like every hour.
Yeah.
You gotta take transmitter readings. It's the most
That was like-
ridiculous fucking thing ever.
I wonder if it's I haven't worked in radio for 20 years. Like I
Nor
wonder
have
if it's yeah, I wonder if it's any way similar to that. And also we used to have so many ridiculous, like, I know, like for me, like we had this huge tower of CDs, like CD carts, and everything was programmed from that, all those CDs that were there, all the music and everything. And you would have a printout, like dot matrix printout of what's going to be playing at what time. So you could cut out what you need to cut out, flip songs if you needed to flip songs. You had to put, and then you had your carts that you like, they were like 8-track tapes almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they were just getting, like, mini disc was newish. Like that was like kind of like the cutting edge thing.
Mini disc was bullshit. Mini disc was bullshit. It had some uses in like production and live radio. No fucking use.
Yeah.
None.
Well, they're trying to do it for the ads instead of the carts because, you know, we had like this huge wall of carts and it's like, oh yeah, I need PSA 506 and PSA 702 to run this hour.
In 1991, I started working at a radio station and we played all of our spots and all of our jingles and everything like that was played off a computer in 1991.
Wow.
Yep. It was very much ahead of its time in what we were doing. We had a touchpad where we could program in something like,
that was freaking crazy.
It could be that, it could be, you know, a jingle or whatever else. And we would each have our own mapping of jingles that we would play. And yeah, everything was computerized. But yeah, I worked with walls of cart machines and in their brilliance of laying out studios, here's what everybody does. So you've got if you're watching, you can see me. I'm basically at a broadcast console now. I've got the board right in front of me. And in a broadcast console, you'd have usually like shelving beside you to stack stuff up on. But all of the carts with the music or carts or CDs with the music were on a wall, like way over here. So there'd be no way to get to one and stay on the air and sound halfway decent. There just would not be. One place had the CDs in a drawer, but the drawer also was down and over here, and you had to look through it and turn your head away from so there was no way if something happened. I still have nightmares about that. I still have nightmares about something ends. I've got 2 of the 3 CD players with the drawers out and nothing to play and dead air. I still have those nightmares. That's how traumatic radio is.
So yeah, I have nightmares about missing who's the guy that did the page 22
Paul Harvey?
Paul Harvey. Missing
Page
the Paul
2?
Harvey. His breaks that I had to hit when I was working that shift. Like you had to hit it because like it was on the live feed. So you had to switch over and pot it up right at the right time, not too soon. And you had to get the national commercial. Because like there's a national commercial that began before it, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, back timing is a nightmare.
Making sure you're coming in right at the same time. That's when you're looking for the PSA that's like 7 seconds. Like
you're fucking doing math with your songs. This is 311 and this is this. And you're doing like, oh my God, make it stop.
The news, top of the hour, just like that type of shit. You know, like it wasn't when I worked the 10 o'clock shift, 10 p.m. like request hour time, like that was kind of easy. But it has its own play Missy for me things, which
sure it does. That's when the crazy ladies call. They're so lonely and your voice sounds so good.
Well, what's the number one thing you learn in radio about women? Nate, what's the first thing you learn?
The voices don't match the faces.
and don't date somebody that calls into your show. Don't go out on a date.
I was working at a radio station and I wasn't there for this, but the evening DJ was apparently having a flirtatious fling of sorts with a listener, and her boyfriend showed up at the studios with a gun.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah. Not the place, bro.
I think it was a night that he wasn't even working, so that was what was weird.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I wanted to tell a quick story about my time at B100 in Plattsburgh, New York, or as they called it before I got there, WGFB 100, because that's the dumbest thing ever. I won't go into a lot of them, but I want to regale you with a story about Bob. Now, Bob, who is passed on and his soul is resting somewhere, Bob Mashera was his name. And Bob liked to tell me, because I was the music director, that, and we were a hot AC station, that he liked to say, and I quote, "I do not like the music of today." Now, this was 1995. So it wasn't today, it was 25 years ago. But he liked to say, "I don't like the music of today." And he couldn't back time to save his life, Jason. So he would invariably pull, because we had some stuff, because we would do like a request lunch where we would play stuff that was out of format occasionally. And the CDs were in the drawer. And he would use those to back time because he didn't bother to think of it until like 5 minutes before. And then he's like, "Oh no, I need a 2 minute and 3 second song," like literally every hour, every day. So I got tired of it, and I was the music director. So I pulled all of these 60s CDs out of the drawer and locked them in my office drawer. Which
man.
I got to the office. I got to the office and I almost never came across him because he was gone before I got there. I did the afternoon shift, and he did not listen to the station when he wasn't on. The only time he listened was when he was working. So I got in and I saw the midday host, and she's like, "Oh my God, Bob was so pissed today." And I said, "Why is that?" And I knew because I was listening. She goes, Somebody took the 60 CDs out, so he couldn't back time to the top of the hour." And I said, "Yeah, that was me, because I'm the music director. He's not supposed to be playing that." So that's one Bob. So I'm going to do a quick 3 for story number 2 about Bob. Bob, at the end of his shift every day, would explain that he was going down the hall for his morning constitutional. So we would send off radio liners to run throughout the automated time, and you could write them up. And I figured out a way to do it so that our satellite DJs would sound live. And morning shows will often have a name. Ours didn't have a name. It was just Bob was on in the morning. And so I had the DJ with the big booming voice who was almost never on because he was on middays. So we were always covering him up with local. And what I wrote for a liner was "The Morning Constitutional with Bob." And this satellite DJ cut "The Morning Constitutional with Bob" and then laughed for 5 minutes on the tape and left it. We got the tape, which was amazing. I played it on the show. And number 3, here's the number 3 Bob story. Bob would like to go to live remotes. And Jason, I don't know if you did any live remotes in your career or not. So Bob would have a prize or two at these live remotes, and I've bored Kareem. Oh no, I don't care. I'm still going.
Go for it.
So Bob would go to these live remotes, and he would beg people for food every time. And I had to work. These are on Saturday mornings, and I would have to work in the morning at the station, and I would have to throw it out to Bob live. And we didn't have the advanced one where you could hear each other. It was just like he could hear me, and then he would go until whenever. So there was no talk back and forth. So I throw it to Bob, and Bob, of course, does his thing. What Bob doesn't know, because Bob doesn't listen to the radio station except when he's on, is that for the week leading up to it, every time we would do a live read promoting this live appearance by Bob, I would tell people, on Saturday morning, Bob is going to ask you to bring him food. Here's what I want you to do. No matter how much he asks, no matter how much he begs, do not, under any circumstances, bring Bob food. It's going to be hilarious. So Saturday morning comes up, he's on, he's begging for food, and he doesn't make any mention of it. Normally he's like, "Oh, so-and-so brought me this, so I gave him this. So-and-so brought me this, so they... so-and-so brought me some Michigan. So-and-so brought me some Dunkin' Donuts," whatever it might be. And I don't think anything. I go, someone probably brought him stuff. So the sales guy comes back after the remote because he brings the stuff back because Bob can't be bothered. And he goes, I go, how'd the remote go? And he goes, it's the weirdest thing. No one brought Bob any food. And he was really, really puzzled by that. He didn't understand it at all. He didn't understand what was going on. He was getting mad. And the sales guy, he's a sales manager. He knew because, of course, he listened to the station.
Right.
So that's
funny.
That's pretty much the easiest thing to do when you're a radio guy is to just have it on in your car. So every time you get in your car, you can listen to your station.
Listen to it at home, whenever.
Yeah.
I put it on your clock radio. He did not care. He didn't care when he was on the air. So of course he didn't care when he wasn't on the air. But
it's like I don't necessarily listen to all of our podcasts because I don't like necessarily hearing myself talk. I don't like hearing myself talk. But that's a completely different thing listening to your radio station and knowing what's going on.
Yeah, pop it on every now and then, see what's happening, see why no one's bringing you food. And the best part is that day broke him of asking for food because he didn't want to be embarrassed by people not bringing him food anymore.
Oh,
it was no, not poor Bob. No,
that's funny.
Not poor Bob. Oh, sorry. Anyway, that's my Bob story. Meanwhile, white women are still at it, Kareem. I know it'll shock you.
Shocking.
Yeah, a white woman showed up at her black neighbor's front door with a taser to then scold them for what? Well, acting like black people. How dare you?
Damn it.
Right? That's a quote. It went down in Northern California in Discovery Bay, which is in a gated community. The Jones family says their neighbor, an older white woman, showed up. So here it is.
No problem. We were raised around black people. And all moms were very nice.
I got everything
You know
on
what?
camera. So you can leave, please. You can get off my property. My dog has never messed with your
If
dog.
you were doing anything to me again, I'll call the police.
Call the police. Everything's on camera. I'll be happy to show them. I'll be happy to show them. I
don't want to see that dog outside.
Well, he's going to be outside because I have a right to have him just like every other person in here. He ain't done nothing to you. He ain't done nothing to your dog.
Why are you so nasty?
I'm nasty by explaining to you that my dog hasn't done anything wrong. You came over here to my house on my property.
But the dog came to my property.
Look, I've been nice to you. I've helped you and your family. I've always talked to you.
You've never helped me in my family. You've never done a goddamn thing.
You coming over here?
All you've done is been negative.
No, I haven't. I'm gonna ask you to please leave my property. I don't know if you just having a bad day or whatever, but today ain't.
I'm not having a bad day, but you know what? You're a
Today's
black
not the
person
day.
in a white neighborhood, and you're acting like one. Why don't you act like a white person in a white neighborhood?
Keep it up. It's all on camera.
I don't give a shit what it is.
All right, well, you can go back over to your house and you can have a nice day. That's what you can do. And I'm gonna keep walking my dog around this neighborhood.
And I will support every time I. You know, your parents were nice.
Yeah, my parents.
They were very nice.
Is
there a
problem to why you're yelling on our property?
It's all right. Look, she can.
Would you come over here?
She got a taser. It's all on camera.
You said what?
I have a small little dog.
Okay, but you don't have to talk to anybody.
She got a taser in one hand and her dog under the other arm.
Okay.
And this lady looks to be about 80.
If you're afraid that your dog is going to be eaten by their dog, why would you bring your dog to their property?
Right. What are you going to do? Tase their dog? But this is a little old white lady that's doing this. If you saw her, you'd be like, look at that little old granny.
I've told y'all they are the worst.
Basically, she's accusing him and his family of letting their pit bull roam free and allowing it to go after her tiny pooch, which they're denying. The woman tries telling him to keep the dog inside. You can't keep the dog inside. You're going to walk your dog.
Yeah.
Now, if he has the dog off the leash, that's another story. It's unclear if cops were called, but the Jones family told local media this is the first time they'd experienced blatant racism like this in the area. One family member says they go above and beyond to be good neighbors, making sure to try and appease the white neighbors, which she says just makes her sick.
Yeah.
So
do shit to try to keep them from calling the police on you.
Right? I'm going to go home and call the police on you. All right. Well, it's all on camera. Go ahead and do that.
Florida.
Florida, land of enchantment and crazy shit. This is Florida Corner.
A Florida mother forced her 2-year-old son to smoke from a vaping device containing THC so that the child would sleep and eat better. That's according to an arrest affidavit.
Get the fuck out of here.
Investigators collared Kiara Clarice, who's 22, on felony child neglect charge after her former girlfriend alerted the victim's father about the vaping. The witnesses also reported that Clarice had canceled the boy's medical appointments out of concern a doctor would discover THC in the child's system. Upon being told that his son had been vaping, the boy's father contacted Florida's Child Welfare Agency and then brought the boy to a hospital where a drug test detected THC in his system. At that point, the sheriffs were called. The child's father told cops that the boy appeared slow and lethargic during a visit with the toddler earlier this month. As detailed in the affidavit, Clarice's ex-girlfriend told police she observed Clarice put a vape pen in the child's mouth and allow him to smoke it in order to get him to eat more and sleep. She added that Clarice would send her photos of the child after he used a, quote, wax pen. Let's change the subject. A defendant who threw 2 naked women out of his Florida home at a 2 a.m. altercation told police the victims attacked him after he declined to engage in a sexual threesome.
Florida.
What?
Oh, you need me to go through that again real quick?
The whole concept of that is just foreign.
Responding to a 911 call about a disturbance at a Clearwater apartment building, cops interviewed I can't even pronounce that. 2 women about an encounter with one of them's husband that allegedly turned violent. According to the affidavits, they went to the home to hang out and drink, while at the apartment, they planned sexual arrangements with her friend's husband, Calvin. But before a threesome ensued, a verbal argument began over the way Calvin was treating his wife. As the dispute escalated, Calvin allegedly choked both naked women before throwing them out of the residence. They told cops that the attack occurred during a planned sexual arrangement. A Clearwater Police Department officer reported observing marks and bruising on the necks of both women. After being read his rights, Calvin claimed the women wanted to have sex with him, but he did not want to, which prompted them to attack him. Calvin added that he was able to get them out of the residence and call law enforcement. Now, based on the statements given by the women and the evidence of the injuries they suffered, Calvin was arrested on felony misdemeanor battery charges. He posted bond, was released from county jail. A judge has ordered him to have no contact with the women. He had previously been convicted of trespass and burglary, for which he spent time in state prison. Yeah.
Did he call the cops, though?
Yes.
Florida.
I mean, I get that you don't want to hurt people, but at the same time, if somebody's trying to rape you and you get them to out of your house so they don't rape you, and you call the police saying this is what's going on. I don't know, I guess I wasn't there, but that sounds kind of crazy that he went to jail because he hurts them getting out of the house. Right? Am I wrong in thinking like
everything is weird about this, Jason? There's nothing normal about this.
Fucking Florida, bro.
It's just weird. I'm just saying. That's why it's we've lost Kareem.
Kareem did not agree with that. He did not agree with my.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Unbelievable. Where did that go? I'm looking for something real quick here. Here we go. I had it last week. Where'd it go? Is it in this Google Drive folder? I have too many Google Drive folders is what the problem is, Jason.
Need to pare those down.
2 minutes. Well, I've got the personal and the business, and yeah, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Oh, here we go. I do know. Here it is.
Here it is.
Here. Dar she be.
Dar
she be. All right. There we go. Let's turn that down. All right. We're going to wrap it up with this. We'll see if Kareem comes back before the end of the show. Wanted to end on a little bit lighter note than a lot of the show has been. Oh, that was it. That's not the one that loops. That's the one that's shorter. That's the one that's shorter.
That's what she said.
Right? You have no idea how appropriate that is, actually. Come on, where could it be? Where could it be? Where could it be?
What's in the folder? What's in the folder? Tell me what's in the folder.
The problem is there's a bunch of stuff that is just not in a folder, and that's the real tragedy here, is that I did not, in fact, put it in a folder.
I have a folder that I put other folders into.
Here we go. That's the folder it's in. Here we go. There we go. We're gonna get it. This is not live radio. Hold on. Let's pop Kareem back on for the end of the show. There he is.
Pop him on.
Kareem, you didn't miss anything. I was just fucking around looking for some music.
Oh, I did want to say real quick about that the threesome story. He looks like he's lucky if anybody wants to have sex with him. Nevertheless, 2 women.
Oh, now you've insulted Jason so badly he's left. This has been a really weird show with people popping on and off. Damn you, connectivity.
Like I said, he looks like he's lucky that one person wants to have sex with him, nevertheless 2 at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes I think that can be more than you really, really want if you start to think about it. All right.
He must have had some troubles. He didn't have enough vitamin E.
He needed some E.
He needed some E.
All right, we're going to wrap it up with this story. Self-love. Woman admits she masturbates 3 times a day. Hold on. Here's Jason. And requires it the same way other people need water. That's right. A woman has revealed she masturbates 3 times a day. The mother of 2, Tracy Kiss, who's 32, from Buckinghamshire, opened up about the racy topic on her blog and did not hold back. She said that masturbation is a natural and normal part of life and something we need not be embarrassed nor ashamed about. Okay. I realize this may seem like an extremely high amount that most women couldn't match, let alone dream of discussing or confessing. Despite admitting that her preferred method of pleasure, is sexual intercourse. She added that masturbation is a key part of her day and keeps her smiling from ear to ear. I mean, me too. Tracy says,
when I need a quick pick me up, that's what I do.
Sure. Tracy said she explored in the past if she's a sex addict after having partners who could not match her stamina in the bedroom, but just found she has a high sex drive.
She doesn't have any kids, does she?
2.
She is a mother of 2. Mother of 2. That was in the first sentence.
Oh,
she explained,
wow.
I find if I don't receive pleasure at night that I'm unable to unwind, relax, and sleep as soundly as I have pent-up sexual tension that keeps me alert, much like drinking coffee or an energy drink. She said that when a partner wants to go to sleep without being sexually intimate, she often masturbates to relax, and this can cause tension if they felt they were unable to please her.
Well, is join in or go to sleep. I've often told my friends who can't sleep, who have insomnia, like, just rub one out.
You know, it's weird. I actually have more energy after. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, 5 minutes and then like I'm fogged
every time. That's the sound I make at the end. Yeah. Not always that face, but always that sound.
Don't come knocking if the
Look, that's how you know what to say.
Yeah. Listen, until you hear me open the door, right? Thanks, kid.
I mean, that was what Fred Flintstone's Yabba Dabba Doo was all about. It's my own version. She justified the frequent masturbation sessions by saying she doesn't seek other partners in a relationship, doesn't cheat, doesn't masturbate in bizarre places, and doesn't feel like it controls her. She maintains that it just helps her take care of her own needs, and if a partner doesn't, Back in May, she raised eyebrows after saying she ingests her boyfriend's sperm every day,
Okay.
either directly or as part of a smoothie.
She loves him. Let anything go to waste.
The vegan mom says she hasn't been ill
No,
for
she's
3
not
years.
vegan. She's not a vegan. Sorry.
And you're saying that violates vegan?
She had to get her protein somewhere, Jason.
No, but that's not vegan. That's not vegan, bro. That is made from an animal. A human is still an animal, and it's not. You can't. There's people that are vegan that have an issue with fucking honey. If you can't eat honey because you're that much of a vegan, then you can't have cum either.
Well, she claims that's why she hasn't been sick in 3 years, and the personal trainer has also been putting the product on her skin, which she dubs Nature's Multivitamin, as part of her healthcare routine for more than 3 years.
Oh man,
she's like
there's a lot of cum.
She's like Rudy with the snot.
It's a lot of cum, bro. Seriously, man. It's like, what the fuck? It's like the dude's probably. I mean, like, yeah, no wonder dudes can't hang out, like, because it's like, no, I need cum though. I mean, no, it's gone dry. All right, better be drinking more water. There's 2 liters. Better drink it all today.
And eat some pineapple.
Yeah.
Here's some pineapple and some mango with you.
You need more citrus in your diet, hon.
Well, speaking of, she reckons that it's packed with vitamin C, calcium, and magnesium, so she's urging people to use semen to keep healthy during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Dope.
Hey,
I like this.
Yes.
Feel free to share this article with your significant others.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure she'll be able to see like where the peer-reviewed site is and like look at the actual, data on it.
Hey, whatever makes you happy, I guess.
Yes.
I need to create some fake websites, guys. I'll see you later.
Your review.
Whatever helps.
Oh,
whatever
man,
helps you sleep at night.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna make some crazy like www.princeton.edu.eo, like just really not Princeton, but it looks like Princeton when you look at the site, like the site name, and then like I'll create like a 1,000-page report on it. But like actually, I have anything in it. It'll just be that Ipsum. What's it called? Ipsum. You know what I'm talking about, the fight.
Yeah, that every Mac has, and it's
It's dope. I'm doing this. I'm getting this down. I'm like, honey, look, there's irrefutable facts here.
we joke about this, and we're like, yeah, that would be great. No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. Can you imagine? I mean, good Lord, it'd be like, get away from my balls, woman. I'm empty. I'm not 23 anymore.
No, so TMI, but the first time when we tried for the first one, we're like, okay, she's like, one of the methods I've seen is that you just do it, when I think I'm gonna be ovulating, and you do it for 10 days straight, and that's just the way that will work this one time right now. I'm like, all right, that sounds fucking dope. That's awesome. Like the 7th day, you're like, are you really? Are you?
Get in here.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to date a girl like that. Back when I was in the Air Force, I was like, damn, she took all the fun out of it.
Yeah, it shouldn't feel like work. That's if it starts to feel like a job, then
all the time.
Like man,
all the time.
Well,
you're like, shit, I got other shit to do. Leave me alone.
I can feel my balls literally collapsing. Ain't no more.
Listen, it's just a dust storm, all right? It's just a dust storm now.
Oh my goodness.
It's like it's like I'm airbending with my dick. All right.
I got some chafing. Behind the head. Make it stop. Anyway, before we go, what are you thankful for, Jason?
Honestly, I am thankful, and this is some people say, like, I'm thankful that I have my wife and my children. I'm just, in more ways than one, this family has saved my life. I'm sure more than anything else, but especially this pandemic. If I had survived this long, pretty sure I'd be one of those fools out there without a mask, fucking going to bars all the time. Just, I joke around, and I've heard people say, like, "Oh, your wife's not your best friend," but she really is, like, my best friend.
She is now. You ain't got no choice.
But so it's not. It's wonderful having my best friend with me.
Excellent. Kareem, what are you thankful for?
10-0, baby. 10-0. I'm not gonna go that deep this time. 10-0. That's what I'm grateful for.
All right. Well, I'm thankful the transition of power can officially begin. But the 21 GOP senators who privately expressed their disdain for Trump are Portman, Alexander, Sass, Blunt, Collins, Murkowski, Cornyn, Thune, Romney, Braun, Young, Tim Scott, Rick Scott, Rubio, Grassley, Burr, Toomey, McSally, Moran, Roberts, and Shelby. Named by Carl Bernstein, by the way. That's why I couldn't find it on Bob Woodward's page. Carl Bernstein, the other guy from Watergate. So I'm thankful for that too. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us. Everybody have a really great Thanksgiving, even though you can't do what you normally would, and be safe. Remember, a small Thanksgiving means you don't have to have a small Christmas funeral. We'll see you next week, everybody. Be good. Thank you, guys. Bye. Hold on, I gotta play one thing before we go. Oh yeah, wrong mount. I have too many mice. I literally have too many mice. Darling New Media, here to help you tell your story.